This video is sponsored by Infinite Lagrange, a sci-fi grand space simulation game that is currently out on both mobile and PC. This game allows you to pilot an entire fleet of starships in a 360-degree view, allow those starships to be upgraded, changed, adjust, and battle in large, fully rendered 3D battles. You have a high degree of freedom in the Lagrange network as an explorer. You can interact with NPCs, you can trade with them, attack pirates, attack them, or combine your forces with them, other unions. Also, I must say the graphical fidelity is surprisingly a lot higher than I would have expected for a game that is both on PC and mobile, and it actually ends up looking quite nice even as you continue into the more crazier battles. You can search for treasures, find historical ruins, planets, mineral resources, and each season of the game will last 2 months. When the season is over, a new Stargate will be opened and you will have a whole new galaxy to explore and conquer. Go ahead and check out the description to download the game, and if you're interested, you can also follow the Facebook or join the Discord to get the most recent information. Give it a download and let's venture into the unknown. Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently serving 10 to life for not simping that hard for Lady Dimmadome. I don't know, I'm more of a Donna fan myself.
Welcome to the family, son.
Resident Evil 8 has been out for a bit. I played it. You can find the playthrough on my second channel. I'll put it in the description. Overall, I think it's good. I have some problems with it. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. The world is very beautiful. I like the graphics and such. I find that the setting in Romania is very awesome and different. Certain characters like Lady D are rather interesting and are designed very well. I like the upgrades quite a bit. Duke is an absolute Chad and it has a pretty decent ending overall. Things I didn't like, Ethan was dead weight. Wasn't that scary, minus the dollhouse. I know that was their intention, but I still would have liked it to be a little bit more frightening. Lycans don't look very interesting and are kind of a boring enemy. The boss fights are almost entirely not that great except for one. And you give the most memorable, the creepiest, the most interesting part of the game that people will remember the most, the dollhouse. You give that section to a lord who is way more bad than she has any right to be, and you give her 2 sentences of dialogue. I get this is the Lady D show, but I think Donna deserved a lot more than she got. I hope we get a DLC with her because what the fuck? But I'm not here really to review Resident Evil 8, and I hope people will come to their senses that a game doesn't have to be amazing or trash. It can be in between. I think RE8 is good. It is nothing fantastic, but it is good, and it is worth the money. But there is something I did want to discuss, this like magic touch that make Resident Evil games, this special sauce, this fancy little extra spice that really turns a Resident Evil game into the campy, silly, over-the-top, confusing ridiculousness that Resident Evil is. The part that every game has that makes it a Resident Evil game. I was thinking about this a lot as I was finishing up Resident Evil 8. There's that one little part that really makes these games special, and I wanted to discuss it and point out exactly what I think it is.
Welcome to the family, son.
Resident Evil tends to operate on a very specific formula. It usually starts something small or simple, a generally simple character that is thrown into a situation that starts small and then escalates to the extreme. The gradual rising of tensions and increasing of the stakes is what makes those last few hours of Resident Evil games feel so special and have such an exciting conclusion. Take Resident Evil 1, for example. There's a bunch of murders going on in the outskirts of Raccoon City, and when the first team to investigate it goes missing, you go out to find them and to find out what the hell's going on. Now the circumstances do start a little bit crazy, down helicopter, giant dog attack, but it ends up with you taking shelter in a nearby manor and finding out what to do from there, which is actually rather, simple. You're hiding from all of these, enemies, so to speak, and you're trying to find your way out and find out what the hell's going on. Resident Evil 2 has this exact same idea, right? Leon's on his first day of duty. He seems like he's a little bit of a deadbeat, and then when he's making his way to Raccoon City, into the police department, there's just zombies and shit everywhere. It's like, oh my god, zombie apocalypse is happening. Oh, my name is Leon. I got a terrible haircut, but it's a little charming. And oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm in the police station now and there's zombies. What the fuck? Resident Evil 3 is a bit crazier in its opening, but Resident Evil 4 is kind of the same deal, right? You're now Mr. Badass Leon, but you're going to a village to find the president's daughter, and then some of these people are weird. They have chainsaws, and you're doing a bunch of spin kicks. I'll skip 5 and 6 for the sake of repeating myself, but 7 has a very similar situation, even though it's told in such a different way. You're Ethan, you got a note from what you assume was your dead wife, and to go to this one area in Louisiana, and you get there, and you're welcome to the family, son, and now you're stuck in this damn house with these crazy lunatics who seem really weird and strange, and you gotta get the hell out. As these games escalate, that's when the nefarious weirdness of the story starts to escalate as well. In Resident Evil 2, that's when Mr. X arrives, and you're like, okay, we were dealing with zombie apocalypse stuff for a while, but now there's this gigantic 9-foot tall dude who looks like he's made of concrete and he's chasing me. Where did he come from? What the hell is he? And what's going on? 7, kind of a similar way. The Baker family seems to be a little bit weird, a little mutated. There's these mold creatures in the bathtubs down below, and this house seems to be a lot more than what it seems. But in the game, there's this specific point. There's this one spot when things have gone so crazy, when the game has become so nefarious and over the top, and it all crescendos into this one crazy moment of ridiculousness. That is the point that makes Resident Evil games special. That is the point that makes a Resident Evil game really stick out as a Resident Evil game. And this isn't necessarily the climax of the game either. This isn't the ending, nor is it the final bit, but it's a part normally right before it. The game is a slab of concrete slowly being pushed up and over, and it stays on that side of weird, creepy, smaller story. And this is the point when finally enough momentum has reached where it just slaps on the other side and we're going full camp. In Village, the Heisenberg boss is that moment. You just defeated all 3 of the other lords. You just spent a lot of time doing a kind of boring part in the Heisenberg factory, lots and lots of combat. You just beat one of the worst bosses I have fought in God knows how long, that stupid propeller man. And now Chris Redfield shows up, says, hey Ethan, how's it going? I hate you. Stop being near here. You're not ready for this. Stay under the radar. By the way, here's a fucking tank. Then Ethan, the guy who just wanted to save his daughter, through the worst one-liners I have heard in the longest time, whose face is the physical embodiment of the lights are on and nobody's home, is then coming out with a goddamn machine gun and rocket launcher tank and blasting a fucking Magneto Western Dante in a huge ball of fire and explosions and stupidity. It's so fucking stupid. Heisenberg Prime is there, he's flinging around all this metal and shit, and he's doing a little bit of a sundown. I'm fucking invincible as you're rolling your way through blasting shit with your goddamn tank. And it is so dumb. Remember when you fought werewolves in the beginning? Remember when you got crashed in a truck and you're like, ooh, it's cold, I don't know where I am, I gotta get the way out of here, and now you're going It's the point when Resident Evil decided, nah, we had that part, now we're going mad. And it's not even the climax of the game. You could argue that maybe the whole part with Chris is that Resident Evil part where you play as him and you're just murdering Lycans like madman. But honestly, I really like that scene because I felt like I just went through all the lords, the final lord of the manor, right? Because the fight with Mother Miranda was fine. It wasn't really that exciting to me, but you're in a goddamn tank, and it's the point where the game said, no. We're going full Resident Evil now. We're going ridiculous. We're going camp. We're gonna embrace who we are, and it's so much fun.
Welcome to the family, son.
I wholeheartedly believe that the Resident Evil 2 remake is the best remake I have ever played, easily. As someone who never played the original and didn't know the story, going into that game completely blind with that entire new experience was such a breath of fresh air and was such an intriguing storyline that I was able to follow decently well, which surprised me because, you know, sequel of the first game. But considering how it started, right, with just 1, great burger physics, and 2, Leon, first day on the job, new cop, thrown into the zombie apocalypse situation, I got to see Leon grow his way through becoming just the regular rookie cop freaking out over everything and slowly working his way up to being quite the badass. It started simple, like they always do, zombie stuff, some environmental storytelling, then Mr. X arrives, things are getting crazier, then you escape the area, Ada Wong is chilling, zombie dogs, then you're down in the sewer, things just keep getting crazier and crazier, and then underground laboratories, then the Umbrella Labs in their own right, and then all of that underground, seedy, crazy shit starts sprouting up. The progression of Leon going from freaking out over zombies to 1v1ing giant monsters is just, it feels natural even though it's so goddamn silly, and it's wonderful to look at. But the moment of Resident Evil 2, you've spent God knows how much time running away from Mr. X. God knows how much time having to loop him through different areas, having to deal with him, having him jump scare you through doors. He's constantly a threat. And through all of that, you're finally down there. You've done your job. You've become the badass that you expected that, that Leon from Resident Evil 4 would then become. You have initiated the self-destruct sequence. The timer is above your head. It's ticking down. You're going down the long elevator. Everything's exploding, but there he is. The man who has tortured you the entire game, with no shirt on, mind you. The final duel against the character that's been harassing you the entire game, with a character who has grown up into becoming this mega badass and has actually been able to destroy the goddamn evil secret organization's underground lab with a ticking clock above your head. It is fucking great. And the music adds everything. That's the moment that makes Resident Evil so special. That's the moment that gets you hyped. It turns everything over. It gets crazy. It becomes something in its own way. And even though I really don't think Resident Evil is one of the better series in terms of video games, in like quality-wise, because wow, they have been up and down in terms of quality, it still has this charm to it. It has this feeling that makes me want to play all the Resident Evil games regardless. Even though 8 was kind of, it was good, it was fine, I'm still thoroughly interested in 9, or whatever it's going to be the next one, because it's just such a charm, such an excitement. Where's it going to go next? What kind of twist and turn, what craziness, what ridiculousness am I going to see in the next game? And that, to me, it's more than enough reason to keep playing Resident Evil. Thank you for watching this video. I know it's a shorter one, but after playing Resident Evil 8, I thought it was a really exciting and a fun thing to talk about, because just that moment really makes me happy. It gives me so many good feels. It reminds me of the excitement of video games, and I wanted to talk specifically about it because I thought it was neat. Anyway, thank you to my patrons and members so very much for being a part. Thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. You have all been fantastic, and it allows me to put out videos such as this that are not daily Fortnite videos, and oh my god, do I praise you all for that. Question: nerf or nothing?